After listening to their self-introduction, Xianxia raised his brows and found that these people were not of the same force, and it seemed that there was some competition between them. This left Xianxia a little at a loss, wondering what they wanted to do. It's such a friend. The guy named Wu Chang looked familiar, and the smile on his face seemed very familiar, but it gave Xianxia a false feeling, which made people a little unhappy. Look. You came alone. Do you want to go deep into Fallen Emperor Mountain to explore the cave mansion of ancient cultivators? True. Xianxia nodded lightly. What about it? Wu Chang chuckled. Friends don't have to be so vigilant. There is no malicious underneath. Just want to invite you to enter it. With you. Xianxia raised his brows. Yes. Wu Chang nodded quickly, and pointed his finger aside. You must have discovered that, my friend. This Wu is at the cultivation level of second order Saint King. Although this level is not too low, it is not high. The disciples of the sect are also there, and there is no void return stage. If enter the Fallen Emperor Mountain and encounter some powerful enemy. He did not finish, but Xianxia also vaguely understood why he would invite himself. Looking along the direction of his fingers, he found that there was a group of cultivators who have the same uniform as Wu Chang. The number was about a dozen. The above are all martial artists of the Saint King realm, and there is no trace of the strongman void return stage. It seems that the strength of this Tian Juemen is not too strong. Do you want me to protect your safety? Xianxia asked. Talking to smart people is no trouble. Protection or cooperation is okay. It depends on whether friends are willing or not. Wu Chang nodded quickly. Is there a difference? Xianxia was surprised. Naturally, there is a difference. Wu Chang saw Xianxia seemed to be a little moved, and hurriedly hit the railroad while it was still hot. If you protect my Tian Juemen, we can pay the friend a sum of money to ensure that you are satisfied, but no matter what I found in Fallen Emperor Mountain, it is my unparalleled harvest. It has nothing to do with friends. If you cooperate, you and I can discuss the cooperation matters, such as how to distribute if you find something good. Of course, Wu still hopes to cooperate with friends. Xianxia nodded slightly. Finally figured out why the other party was so enthusiastic. It turned out to be a lack of masters. He did not hide his cultivation realm. He was a Saint King realm martial artist. Naturally, he can tell that he is a void return stage. You are the same? Xianxia looked at the others again. Those cultivators nodded quickly. One by one introduced their own family name or sect. I understand. Xianxia chuckled. He asked profoundly, but you are not afraid that I will turn on your back if you really find something good? Hearing this, Wu Chang and others all looked stiff. The expression was very uncomfortable, but soon, Wu Chang recovered as before, and said bitterly, friend is joking. Whether I'm joking or not, since I have the ability to explore the interior of Fallen Emperor Mountain, why should I cooperate with you and let the profits be divided? Xianxia sneered. He was not bored to be idle with these people. It's just that he came here to look for people like Wu Chang who knew the situation inside the Fallen Emperor Mountain. Maybe he could hear some useful news from them. It's this kind of thing. Each of the ancient cultivator caves in Fallen Emperor Mountain is extremely hidden, and many of them can't even be discovered by the spiritual mind. If there are many people, the chances of finding these caves will naturally be greater. Moreover, most of the restrictions on the caves cannot be broken by one person. They need to cooperate with others. Therefore, the cultivators who enter it will usually find some like-minded people. It can be said that it is rare to go deep alone. There is some truth to this. Xianxia nodded slightly. Wu Chang and the others were overjoyed. Just as they were about to say something, Xianxia waved his hand and said, but I just came here, and I don't have any plans to go in yet. I will find you to cooperate when I have it. With that said, Xianxia left directly. He never wanted to cooperate with these people from start to finish. Although Wu Chang and the others were a little unwilling, they couldn't continue to block him. They could only continue to pay attention to the surrounding situation to see if there was a void return stage coming alone that could be brought together. After getting rid of the few people, Xianxia didn't rush into Fallen Emperor Mountain, but while watching from the randomly placed stalls, he took out a communication compass and poured his spiritual mind into it. After waiting for a while, the compass did not respond. Xianxia shook his head and put it away. It seems that Qiantong is far away from him, otherwise, he can definitely be contacted. He was not investigating these stalls for shopping or any treasures. Although there were a lot of goods on the stalls, but there were few things that would make Xianxia bat an eye. Who would be willing to display real good things? If they do, it would be too late to regret it. It can be said that the goods placed on the stalls are all large-scale goods. Of course, some people who do not know the goods treat good things as garbage, but such good things are hard to come across. Xianxia continued to stay here, just wanting to inquire about intelligence. At the very least, he could get a rough understanding of the situation in the Fallen Emperor Mountain through the conversations with the cultivators around him. Not to mention, there are so many people around, it really made him hear a lot of information. The ruins of the ancient sect actually exist. And it's in the innermost part of Fallen Emperor Mountain. Now, many powerful people have already rushed there. However, the guarding formation of the sect ruins is quite strong. It may not be easy to break through. So in a short time, those strong people are at a loss and can only wait for more people to come and join hands. It would be great if Yang Yan was here. With her ability, the so-called mountain and protection formation could not stop them at all, but it was a pity that she had merged with the great emperor's body and was still sleeping. Thinking of Yang Yan, Xianxia sighed again. This woman is the most important friend Xianxia has met since he came to the Shadowed Star. She has followed him through the ups and downs all the way, sharing joys and sorrows, but Xianxia did not expect her life experience to be so bizarre. When he was immersed in these memories, leisurely, Xianxia's eyes flashed, leaving the place without a trace, and walking towards a sparsely crowded place. After a while, he suddenly turned around, with a smile on his face, and said, "Friend, why do you want to sneak behind this Yang? How about showing up?" A soft voice came out, and a figure appeared strangely not far in front, looked up and down Xianxia, and said in surprise, "You can actually see Yang's whereabouts." Xianxia snorted, and his divine consciousness swept across the other party, and found that this guy was a cultivator of second-order void return stage. He looked about 50 years old, with a gray hair, short stature, and a saint chi that was slightly weird. Although he was one level higher than his own cultivation base, Xianxia didn't even have the slightest fear. He killed a few cultivators in the third-order realm. Is he still afraid of a second-order realm? Moreover, looking at the other side's expression, it seemed that there was no malice, and Xianxia didn't intend to rush it before he understood his true intentions. "Little brother, don't blame. Zhang is not malicious." The cultivator surnamed Zhang quickly expressed his attitude. After all, sneaking behind others is indeed a bit taboo. Although Xianxia's cultivation base is lower than him, the place is mixed with dragons and snakes. He didn't want to have any conflict with Xianxia, so he could take advantage of others. "I can see it." Xianxia smiled slightly and didn't mind, "But please make it clear why you are following me." Hee, the old man is abrupt. "I'm going to be honest with my little brother first. Although he looks a lot older than Xianxia, since everyone is a void return stage and they don't know each other, of course he don't dare to ask for a big deal. Well, if you don't mind, the old man would like to ask, what is the attribute of the saint chi that the little brother cultivates?" "Attributes?" Xianxia frowned, his face solemnly said, "Why should I tell you? If it's convenient, I would also like to ask my little brother to give me your advice." It's really because the old man is looking for a companion who cultivate the appropriate attribute of cultivation technique. Of course, if you feel like not telling, then just pretend the old man never asked. Zhang will go look for other people. The expression on the face of the cultivator surnamed Zhang was very sincere. Xianxia frowned, and he pondered for a moment and said, "Let's see for yourself." Saying like this, stretched out his hand, a cloud of dark demon flame rolled on his hand, emitting a hot high temperature. The cultivator surnamed Jiang eyes lit up and his face was surprised by her attribute finally found. N. Yang Kai frowned. What you are looking for is a martial artist who has cultivated the fire attribute, ain't she? True. The cultivator surnamed Jiang expression writhed. This old man has asked more than a dozen people, but no one meets my requirements. If the little brother finds it convenient, can you move elsewhere and discuss in detail? Talking like this, he looked at Yang Kai blankly. Seeing Yang Kai hesitated, the cultivator surnamed Jiang bit his teeth and quietly transmitted a message to Yang Kai. Oh. Is there such a good thing? Yang Kai was surprised, and immediately nodded. In this case, then Mr. Jiang will lead the way. Here, please. Seeing Yang Kai's agreement, the old man named Jiang was overjoyed and hurriedly walked aside. Yang Kai followed behind him, becoming more and more remote as he walked, and gradually left the place where countless people gathered. However, he was daring and bold. He was not afraid of the other party's tricks. Not long after, the two of them came to a certain slope 10 miles away, and there 3 people were sitting cross-legged, seeming to be adjusting their aura. Yang Kai was amazed, and his spiritual mind swept across the 3 people, and found that these 3 people were all martial artists of the second order void return stage, and their cultivation was equivalent to the old man surnamed Zhang. There are 3 people, 2 men and 1 woman. One of them looks like the old man Zhang, who is about 50 or 60 years old, while the other man and 1 woman are quite young. The man has a wide mouth and nose and is full of wildness. The female is petite and exquisite, with exaggerated breast lines, a pair of towering jade peaks, and graceful waists, which are fascinating. To be continued.